Hello, welcome to your number one English tutorial show. I'm Richard Doman. Today's lesson promises to be so exciting and thrilling. You know why? Because we are continuing with the series that we began a few weeks ago, and that is parts of speech. Parts of speech is one of the fundamental or the basic principle, one of the basic principles of English language. It's very important, it's very crucial, it's very essential. And when we began that series, we looked at the first part of speech, and that is conjunctions. And we took time to analyze what conjunctions are, the types of conjunctions, and how conjunctions function in English language and in sentences. Today, we are going to look at the second part of speech, and that is prepositions. It promises to be so thrilling, so exciting, this lesson. So we are looking at the second part of speech, and that is prepositions. Now, if you look at the screen, you will see that we have two definitions of prepositions. The first definition says, a preposition is a short word that is employed in sentences to show the relationship nouns, pronouns, and phrases have with other parts within the respective sentences. Now, that is the first definition of what preposition is. A short word that is employed in sentences to show the relationship nouns, pronouns, and phrases have with other parts within the respective sentences. They are usually found positioned at the later part of sentences but before a noun or pronoun. In other words, prepositions cannot be at the end of a sentence. It can only be at the later part of a sentence. That is the first definition of what a preposition is or what prepositions are. They are short words. They are not long words. They are short words that are employed in sentences to show the relationship nouns, pronouns, and phrases have with other parts within the respective sentences. That is what prepositions are. Now, let's look at the second definition of prepositions. It says, a preposition is a word that connects a noun phrase, and a pronoun to another word, especially to a verb, another noun, or an adjective. Of course, you know that a noun, a verb, and even an adjective are all parts of speech. We are going to look at them later, not today, but in our subsequent lessons, we are going to look at what verbs are, what nouns are, and what adjectives are. But today, we are looking at what prepositions are. And these are the two definitions of prepositions. We are looking at the second one that says a preposition is a word that connects a noun phrase, and a pronoun to another word, especially to a verb, another noun, or an adjective. If you have knowledge of what a verb is, what a noun is, or what an adjective is, you will understand that a preposition connects a noun with a verb, with a noun, or an adjective. We're going to explain this more later. Now, let's look at the word examples of prepositions. What I mean is, let's look at some prepositional words. We have in. The word in, we have on, we have to, we have at, we have by, we have the word of, we have the word for, we have the word over, we have under, we have beneath, we have unto, we have onto, we have below, we have beside, we have the word from, we have around, we have across, into, toward, between, behind, during, after, in front, above, against, with, etc. There are a few more to be added to this. So all these words you are looking at on your screen are prepositional words. They are prepositional words. Now don't forget what preposition states. A short word that is employed in sentences to show the relationship nouns, pronouns, and phrases have with other parts within the respective sentences. And other parts within the respective sentences are the verbs, the nouns, or the adjectives. Now, the second subheading of this lesson, prepositions, is uses of prepositions. We're going to look at how prepositions are used in sentences, the uses of prepositions. Now, prepositions always show some key characteristics and perform some crucial functions when they are used in sentences. They always show some key characteristics, key features, and perform some crucial, some vital functions when they are used in sentences. Now, let's examine the following uses. There are 5 uses of prepositions. The first one says they are used to show the direction of something. In other words, prepositions are used to show the direction of something, the pattern of something, how something moves or goes, the direction of something. That is the first use of prepositions. The second use of prepositions is they are used to show the time of events. Prepositions are used to show the time of events, the time of actions. And number 3 use is they are used to show location of objects in sentences. They are used to show location of objects, where objects are located in sentences. That is what prepositions are used for. That is the third use of prepositions. And then the number 4 use of prepositions is they are used to represent spatial relationships. Spatial relationships, or the word spatial means space, spacious. So in other words, you're saying that prepositions are used to represent spacious relationships. What relationships? Of course, you know that prepositions basically establish or show relationships between nouns, pronouns, adverbs, adjectives, and verbs in sentences. So when we're saying that they are used to represent spatial relationships, we are directly referring to relationships of nouns, pronouns with verbs, with adjectives, with other content words in sentences. That is the number 4 use of prepositions. The number 5 use of preposition is that prepositional phrases in particular are used to do all this in sentences. There is something called prepositional phrases, which we are going to analyze properly when we get down to the next subtitle, which is types of prepositions. So, types of prepositions. Now, we just finished uses of prepositions, 5 uses of prepositions. Now we are looking at the types of prepositions. Prepositions are divided into 5 types based on their uses and functions. Now, these 5 types, 4 are major while 1 is minor. Remember, the last use of prepositions that talks about establishing spatial relationships, nouns, verbs, and the rest. That is the minor type of preposition. So we have 5 types of prepositions. 4 are major, while 1 is minor. So let's look at the first type of prepositions. Prepositions of time. These are used to show the time of event. The time of event. They show the time that actions happen or take place. Very simple. They are called prepositions of time, showing the time actions take place, showing the time of event. For example, we have on, from, to, after, during, until. These are prepositional words that are used to show time of event. Let's look at these few examples to buttress how prepositions of time function in sentences. We would be meeting on Friday. We would be meeting on Friday. The word on is the preposition of time in this sentence. We would be meeting on Friday. The second sentence is the supermarket would be closed from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. The supermarket would be closed from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. The word from is the preposition of time here in this sentence. So you can see the way it works. The third sentence example here, still under prepositions of time, is can you come after some time? Can you come after some time? This is a question, still a statement. The word after, A-F-T-E-R, is the preposition of time here. The fourth sentence here says, we have been asked to work from home until the end of June. We have been asked to work from home until the end of June. The word until is a preposition, even though it's also a conjunction. Until is a conjunction, a subordinate conjunction, but it's also a preposition. Maybe before now you didn't realize or you didn't know that the word until is both a preposition and a conjunction. Know it today that the word until, that is U-N-T-I-L, is both a preposition and a conjunction. So in this case, it's functioning as preposition of time. We have been asked to work from home until the end of June. And the fifth sentence here says, the whole country was asked to stay home during the pandemic to ensure safety and well-being. The whole country was asked to stay home during the pandemic to ensure safety and well-being. The word during is our preposition of time in this sentence. So you can see how prepositions of time function in sentences. Very simple. Take note of these 5 sentences and look at where the prepositions are placed. You can see that there is no preposition in this sentence that is placed at the end of the sentence. They are all at the later part of the end of the sentence. That is, or rather that explains the 2 definitions of what prepositions are. Prepositions are not meant to be last in a sentence, to be placed last in a sentence. They are always at the later end of a sentence, in between. So please take note of this, and that is why it's wrong to say, where are you going to? You are asking someone where the person is going and you are saying, where are you going to? The word to is a preposition, so it shouldn't be there. That question should just end at going. Where are you going? That is how the question should be asked or structured. Please take note of this lesson, it's very important. So, that is the first type of prepositions, prepositions of time. Let's go straight to the second type of prepositions, that is prepositions of place. These prepositions are used to indicate place of events. In other words, they show the place that events happen or take place. It's as simple as that. Word examples for prepositions of place. We have on, O-N, we have behind, we have over, we have between, in front of, etc. These are prepositions of place. Let's look at the sentence examples to further buttress how prepositions of place function in sentences. The first one says, I have kept the pencil I borrowed from you on the table. I have kept the pencil I borrowed from you on the table. The word on is the preposition of place here. So where is the pencil kept? On the table. The second one is, Drake hid behind the door. Drake hid behind the door. Of course, this is a past tense or past statement. Drake hid behind the door. Where did Drake hide? He hid behind the door. So the word behind is our place of event. The preposition of place, behind. The third sentence is the dog jumped over the fence. The dog jumped over the fence. Still in past tense, a past statement. The word over is our preposition of place here. Over the fence. And the fourth sentence is, I will place the red roses in between the white daisies. I will place the red roses in between the white daisies. The word between is our preposition of place. So, that is our preposition of place, between the white daisies. So, I will place the red roses in between the white daisies. Where am I going to place the red roses? In between the white daisies. So, the word between is our preposition of place in this sentence. The fifth one is, he was waiting for the taxi in front of the supermarket. He was waiting for the taxi in front of the supermarket. Where is he waiting, or where was he waiting for the taxi? In front of the supermarket. In front of is our preposition of place here. So he was waiting in front of the supermarket, waiting for the taxi to come. These are all examples of how prepositions of place function in sentences. Now let's move straight to the third type of prepositions. Prepositions of direction. Now they are used to denote the direction in which something travels or moves. That is why they are called prepositions of direction. Examples: toward, into, to, from. These are all prepositions of direction. Now we take the sentence examples. The first one says, the boy is running toward his father. The boy is running toward his father. The word toward is the direction. It's showing the direction of the boy's action, running. The second one is, the swimmer jumped into the pool to save a drowning girl. The swimmer jumped into the pool to save a drowning girl. The word into is showing the direction of the swimmer. The swimmer jumped into the pool to save a drowning girl. The third example is, Brenda passed the barrel to Camilla. The direction is to. That is the direction of Brenda's action, which is passing the barrel. To who? Camilla. And the fourth sentence is, when is Johnson returning from the States? The word from is the direction. It's a question. So, it's directing us and answering the question where Johnson or when Johnson will be returning from the States. So, when is Johnson returning from the States? And the last sentence says, Linda ran across the street. The word across is the preposition of direction here. It's showing you the direction of Linda's action, where Linda ran to. That is across the street. Now we go to the next type of prepositions, and that is prepositions of location. These are used to indicate locations of particular objects. The location of what particular object. That is what prepositions of location do. Now let's look at these words: at, in, on. These three words are used for prepositions of location. They show location of what object, specific or particular object. Now let's look at these three sentence examples. The first one says, Brian will be staying at his cousin's place for the weekend. The word at is the preposition of location here. It's showing you where Brian is going to be staying for the weekend. Where is Brian going to be staying for the weekend? At his cousin's what place? That is what prepositions of locations do. The second example or sentence example here says, make sure you keep the ball in its place after you play. Make sure you keep the ball in its place after you play. The word in is the location here. The preposition of location is the word in, showing us where the ball should be kept after he's done playing. And then the third sentence here says, he lays on the floor for a really long time. He lays on the floor. The word on is the location here, the preposition of location. Now, if you look at this, like I said before, you can see that some of these words repeat in other types of what? Prepositions. Some appear in 2 types, some appear in 3 types. That is how they are. So don't mix them and don't get confused. We go to the last type of prepositions, and that is prepositions of spatial relationship. These are used to denote an object's movement away from the source and towards its source. Now, when we were talking about the uses of prepositions, I talked about this. And I said spatial. The word spatial means space. So the prepositions of spatial relationship simply establishes what? A spacious relationship between nouns, pronouns, and then verbs and adjectives or other content words. So we have the words examples here: against, opposite, beneath, beside, around. These are all what? Words, prepositional words used to establish what? Spatial relationships. Now we have these sentence examples. The first one says, Stanley stands leaning against the wall. Stanley stands leaning against the wall. The word against is the spatial preposition here. Where is Stanley standing leaning? He is standing leaning against the wall. The second example here says, the car is parked opposite the amusement park. Where is the car parked? Opposite the amusement park. The word opposite is our spatial relationship preposition here. It's telling us where the car is parked, opposite the amusement park. And the third example here says, the grain is put beneath the ground. The grain is put beneath the ground. Let's assume a rice grain is put beneath. The word beneath is our spatial preposition here, showing where the grain is. It is beneath the ground. Now the fourth example here says, she sat beside him in the examination hall. Where did she sit during the examination? She sat beside him in the examination hall. So the word beside is our spatial preposition in this sentence. And then the fifth example says, we spent the day walking around the garden. We spent the day walking around the garden. The word around is our spatial preposition here. So we spent the whole day walking around the garden. These are the different word functions of prepositions of spatial relationship, or how they function in sentences. Very simple. Take note of this. Alright, we are going to the next subtitle or subheading of this topic, prepositions, and that is prepositional phrase. What is prepositional phrase? We're not going to look at the word phrase today. It's not our emphasis. The time is coming in this our lesson, in this our show, that we are going to be treating the word phrase or the topic phrase. Today is not a day. What we are looking at today is prepositions, but there is something called prepositional phrase when we are talking of prepositions. So we are narrowing this teaching to what? Preposition. Even though you see phrase, it's not the emphasis on this lesson, but we are still going to talk briefly about it. Now, let's look at what prepositional phrase is. This is a combination of preposition and a noun relatively to the object it is affecting. The combination of preposition and a noun relatively to the object it is affecting. That is what prepositions are. So it is a combination of a prepositional word and a noun relatively towards the object it is affecting. Now let's look at the words examples. We have on time, out of stock. Now before I go ahead and listing or talking about this example, which of course you are seeing on your screen, I wanted to take note of this. When we are talking of prepositional phrase, the words are always 2 or 3, and that is why they are called what prepositional phrase. Like I said, that even though phrase is not our emphasis here, but we are still going to talk about it briefly. If what phrase is, if you understand the meaning of phrase, you see reason, or you want to understand why the words are 2 or 3. I mean the prepositional phrase. Of course, a phrase is a group of words, that has no verb and doesn't make sense. So we have on time, out of stock, for a change, at once, with the help of. All these are phrases that don't make sense. You cannot make a sentence like that. You can't say on time and put there. No, it doesn't make sense. They are all phrases, and that is why they are called what? Prepositional phrase. A combination of preposition and a noun. Now, if you look at them also, you will see that we have noun in those words you see. On time, for example, the word time is a noun, an abstract what noun. Stock is a noun, abstract noun. Change is a noun. Once is a noun. Help is a noun. All these are what nouns. So, and then you can now see that on is preposition. Out of is preposition. For is a preposition. Out is a preposition. With is a preposition. Or with a is a preposition. Of is a preposition. This is why we say that prepositional phrase is the combination of preposition and a noun relatively towards the object it is affecting. Now let's look at these few sentences very sharply. The first one is, see to it that you reach the venue on time. On time is what the prepositional phrase in this sentence. The second example says, the products you requested are out of stock. We don't have it again. It's not in stock anymore. Out of stock is our prepositional phrase in this sentence. The third one is, let's have dinner at the eatery for a change. For a change is our prepositional phrase here. It doesn't make sense except you add it to the complete sentence. You cannot just say for a change. It has to be, let's have dinner at the eatery for a change. But for a change is a prepositional phrase in this sentence. The fourth example here is, you must do all the works at once. I don't want you to do the works at separate times. You must do all the works at once. The word at once is what? The prepositional phrase. To, at, and then once. At is the preposition. Once is the noun, abstract noun, like I said before. The fifth example here is, Jerry finished the job faster than expected only with the help of his friend. With the help of. That is our prepositional phrase in this what sentence. There are 4 words conjuncted to give us that prepositional phrase, with the help of. So Jerry finished the work or the job faster than expected only with the help of what? His friend. So this is what prepositional phrase is. Very simple. Don't forget, combination of preposition and a noun, and I've explained to you with these examples why they are called prepositional phrase. So please take note, don't forget. We go over to the next subtitle of this lesson. We are looking at general sentence examples. Now, of course, during the time of analyzing the types of prepositions, I've given you several sentences to buttress how prepositions, or to explain how prepositions function in sentences. But I still feel I should give you few more to add to the ones we've already discussed. So let's look at these examples here. The first one says, I will be going to church tomorrow morning. The second one, the dog was found hiding under the table. The steward placed the plate on the dining table. Are you going with James or John? I love going to the beach at night. We will meet tomorrow by the swimming pool. The bookshop you are looking for is right in front of you. And the last one, but not least here, says, the hunter climbed onto the tree. So you can see the shaded words are all what prepositional words: to, under, on, with, at, by, in front of, onto. These are all what prepositional words. Please take note of these sentences, and whenever you see, you should be able to identify the prepositions. Let's go over to the next subtitle, and that is commonly confused prepositions. There are some prepositions that are commonly confused. People always get confused when they see them, and that is because they function, most times they function in more than one type of prepositions, like I said before when I was explaining types of prepositions. Now, with the vast numbers of prepositions in English language, it almost seems impossible to have no confusions at all. Now, here are prepositions that cause confusion amongst the users of the language. We have in, on, at, used for place or location. These three prepositions oftentimes cause confusion amongst users of this language called English. Now, look at these prepositions can be used to depict both time, place, and location. So don't get confused. So you can use these three prepositions to make sentences that have to do with time, that have to do with place, and that have to do with location. Let's take, for example, in is used to show general locations like neighborhoods, cities, countries, and places with a boundary. Neighborhoods, cities, countries, and places with a boundary. While on is used to refer to more specific locations like streets, avenues, islands, surfaces, and large vehicles. These are all what the preposition on is used to refer to. And then we have at, used to refer to very specific locations like I live in Canada, for example. We will be staying in a hotel tonight. So you can see that these words, these prepositions, these three prepositions are used in these three perspectives. They are used for time, they are used for place, and they are used for location, just like you have seen them demonstrated in these sentences. Now let's look at some other set of prepositions that are so confused or confusing amongst the users of this language. We have also in, on, at, the same set of prepositions, the same in, the same on, and the same at, these three. So used for time. Now let's look at how they are used to depict time. Now in can be used to depict general timings like months, years, centuries, and parts of days. They are used to depict general timings like months, years, centuries, and parts of days. And then we have on, used to refer to dates, days of the weeks, days of the month, and holidays with day. For example, Republic days of a country, those holidays, we use the word on to refer to them. And then we have at, that can be used to denote very specific times of the day, and holidays without day. For example, Easter day. Easter day, of course, it comes different days, so we use the word at or the preposition at to depict or to denote this specific time, Easter day. So you can see there are more prepositions or group of prepositions that are confusing like this amongst users of English language, but we are taking just these two set. So this is where we're going to end this lesson. We're going to wrap this lesson. I'm very sure that all we've talked about, all we've taught in this topic, prepositions, are well taken and understood. Please make use of this teaching, make use of these sentences, learn to use prepositions in sentences correctly. So study this lesson and appropriate them in your daily spoken English and written English. Very important. If you must become an excellent user of this language called English, you must adhere strictly to the laid down instructions, principles, that are guiding the language. And parts of speech is one of the fundamentals. Don't forget. Wow. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm sure you learned a lot from this topic today. One of the parts of speech we have in English language, prepositions. We talked about what prepositions are. We looked at how prepositions functions in sentences. We also looked at the types of prepositions, and as well, we looked at various sentences to further portray how prepositions function in sentences. If you have any question, drop it on the comment section and I will be glad to answer your question. See you again in our next episode. Thank you.